Okay, folks, today we are taking a look at Masters, sort of the Road to Masters episode 2. Now, these are in no particular order, and the gameplays I'm showcasing are in no particular order. They are effectively background footage for me having a chat about how the progression went/is going. So this gameplay is, I think, from like when I was just about getting promoted into Silver. I'm playing on Checkout, and we were basically discussing sort of how the skills sort of translate from one game to another. So the only game I've really sunk a lot of time to on the controller is Gears 1 PC. And sort of obviously the Xbox version, that's it. And what I've effectively started to do was the very first few games I was like trying to play like I was on Gears 5 PC. I was trying to do a lot of things at once, flicking, movement, tracking. I was trying to do all the things I was doing on a PC on a controller whilst also trying to learn a controller, and it wasn't going well. So again, episode 1, we just kept things simple. Now I know we're still in bronze, but I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of footage saved because basically what I was doing was I was just clipping good moments and then going to make a montage. However, I did want to sort of make a little series for a few days building up to the montage just to give you an idea of how it went. There is no background footage, background audio, because I'm going to talk over it and we don't want to hear myself twice. So you can see that I'm using the controller in the bottom right, and I'm also holding it just so people know I'm not on a mouse and keyboard. And you can see there, that was one of the first, I'm not going to call that a rap shot because it wasn't really a rap shot, but it was one of the first sort of faster movements I've done on the controller. And we're still sticking to our principles of like, listen, we're in bronze, the players we're playing against aren't very good, so we have a little bit more time to react and do things. I was actually playing pretty well with the sniper, and every time I end up watching one of these gameplays, I'm like, oh god, I could have put that in the montage. I should re-edit it all, but I've done the montage now and it's been uploaded, so bonus clips coming in. But seriously, the idea is, I know I'm in bronze, so I don't need to dive the hill and play super fast and hectic. I can just let my team go 50-50 on each other, and I can just focus on working on a few basics like tracking people with the sniper, predicting where they're going to be, and just honestly, which sounds daft, pulling the triggers at the correct time, because when you're on a mouse and keyboard, you have like different sort of, I'm not going to say input speeds, but obviously clicking and then pressing like QWE and stuff like that and WASD is a lot different to, you know, pulling 2 triggers at the same time to shoot. So I was just getting down with the basics, nothing fancy, and it was feeling at this point that I was still very wooden, definitely still very wooden on the sticks, but I felt sort of confident enough that I could win fights and take fights if I needed to sort of do some bit of movement, and the aiming skills were coming back ever so slightly with the controller. The first games I was sort of over the top aiming, and then I was also over the top hip firing. What I'm kind of doing right now is waddling. This is what people would refer to in the most cringe way as bot walking, a term I hate. But effectively, if you're getting killed by somebody like me that is quote bot walking, what it means is you've been killed by a guy with no movement. And I can tell you, as somebody that had no movement at the beginning when learning controller, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for you to make a mistake. Like, oh, he's got the wrong gun out at the wrong distance, or he shot too early and now I can punish him. I'm not looking to do some crazy movement to outplay you if you've already made the mistake of, you know, doing one of those 2 things. Like here, there was nothing too fancy about that. I knew that he was on the corner, so I did a relatively slow back A, hip fired, and then I pushed in for a flank. And you can see I'm managing to hit shots, not so much the sweeps, even though that one was a nice little sweep. You know, shots like that I'm missing, but I'm able to hit quite a few shots because I've played a lot of Gears, and in Bronze League especially, most of the people commit to their actions. What I mean by that is most people, if they roll, they sort of let themselves finish the roll. They don't immediately like cancel or wall bounce, which means I have to rush my shot. If they Lancer, they typically stay out of cover for a little bit longer, or when they wall slide, they just let themselves commit to the slide. And because, as we explained in episode 1, if you commit to a slide, and this is again why I think controller worked well in Gears 1, was when you commit to a slide, you're going to have maybe just half a second, maybe a quarter of a second extra time to be like, I know he's going to that wall, so I can take a little bit more time with my sniper aim or shotgun aim and hard aim the wall he's going to be going towards, or headshot him on the block he's going to be sliding towards. And again, that's why I think controller worked very well in the older series, because there wasn't as many cancels and there were more set animations that, yes, you can't flick as fast as you can on, say, a PC, but here's where the difference, I feel, kicks in. And I know most people won't be watching this, but hear me out. If you ever want to tell a PC player or someone that's arguing about the difference, basically what it is in Gears 5, when someone does an animation on a PC, I can, quote, snap, which is me being good with my aim, very quickly to their head and shoot with very little input delay, right? So if I'm accurate enough, I can aim at their head, you know, and shoot and kill them. And the reason it works is because in this game, because everybody can cancel out of those animations, sometimes you need to be very fast because you're not sure, hey, is he going to cancel out of this one? I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to aim immediately to his head and pull the trigger, because it's not like in Gears 1 where there was a bit of delay and you had to lead your bullets. In this game, I'm not going to say it's hit scan, but basically it's point and click. So if I've got the cursor on somebody's head, or I've got the reticule on somebody's head that's mid-slide and I shoot, they're dead. In Gears 1, you would have to either lead the shot, and if you're leading the shot, you need to know where they're going to, right? On a game, this is where I'm bad with the controller, like that, those kind of trying to land multiple shots whilst moving, still haven't got to grips with that. But yes, on Gears 5, because you can cancel out and you can do all of this stuff, there is an advantage to being able to sort of flick and snap to that target and shoot instantly. In Gears 1, even if you were to play it with a PC, what would happen is I might start sliding to a wall and the PC player might snap to my head and shoot me mid-slide. But because there's no cancel, the Xbox player could wait just a fraction of a second longer, and let him hit the block and then headshot him. Because during that little frame or two of him committing to the slide, nothing can be done. He can't cancel, he can't shoot, he can't throw a smoke, he can't spot. So by naturally having no wall cancel, it gets rid of the quote gap and the difference between a PC sort of mouse player and a controller, or at least helps lower it. You know, there's not nearly as much of a difference. In this game, yeah, when people get very good and people start moving about at light speed, you do need to be accurate and quick. And if you get very, very good at a PC, it's probably a little bit easier to be very, very good at flicking on a PC than it is a controller, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. You can see in this game, even only after a few days of using a controller, that I've hit quite a few nice headshots. And that's because I've put a lot of time into the game. We know the animations, we know where people want to be. So although I might not be the quickest, I can make up for it for, I guess, speed of brain without being too big-headed. You know, I have played the game for a long time, so I do know where people want to be and want to move, and how they might move. That makes a big difference. So I think I just wanted to talk a little bit about exactly how it feels to transition to and from, because I've played both input devices heavily, and it feels sort of a bit like it did in the heyday of, like, you know, 2006 to 2008, when I played a lot with a controller. once I get up to speed with it, I can hit really good shots and I can sweep and I can do all of this. I might not be able to follow it up with another kill. So I might be able to sweep and kill somebody, but then if somebody pushes me with a roadie run, I'm having to sort of re-sweep over the head and shoot. Whereas with a mouse and keyboard, I could really lock and get that quick movement in. And because Gears 5 is such a fast game, you do need to be quite quick. But I'm sure this will come with practice and time. What I do want to say is I don't feel limited by the controller nearly as much as I thought I was going to be. I thought I'd have no chance of actually killing anything, honestly. Like, certainly not landing like headshots whilst people are sliding. I definitely thought that time of day was gone for me. Like, that was like a thing way back in the past. But, you know, you can see here, I'm picking up... I know I'm in Bronze League, but why am I able to get that kill? I didn't do anything special. I don't need to have crazy movement, and I don't need to have crazy accuracy, because I understand how the game works. I waited, and I snuck up, and I flanked. And then I got in gib range and I waited and I held my shots to the gib range because that's how the game functions. People might say that's noobish, that's why this game's broken, it promotes people getting kills like that. But those kills only happen on bad players. If you're getting killed by me doing that type of stuff, you're a bad player. It shouldn't work like that. But I wanted to include this game because although some of the clips in this video are not in the montage, there, you know, I think I actually play quite well. And forget the fact that I'm against bronze players because, you know, I've just started out my account. This was when I was beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable with certain shots like that. Now that's where I should hip fire. But on a PC, I would just aim and flick to him. But you have to, what I will say is with the controller, you have to choose what type of shot you're going to do. Because he hopped over, I should have just turned my camera and hip fired. However, on PC, you can kind of aim everything if your sense is good enough. But that's not a thing of, oh, PC's OP. That's just I have to get used to how to play. You play very differently with a controller. And there are pros and cons to it. And I think that if I put enough time onto it, I'll certainly get to a decent level with a controller. And if I put a ton of time into it, I think I'd be just as good on a controller as a mouse for Gears. Just because of the way the game functions. But, you know, you can see here, my lancering still isn't the best. This was like early days. Still really, what you'll notice about this is when you've watched me stream PC, I obviously lancer a lot, because naturally that's where my advantage is. Being accurate at long range and beaming people down. I'm not that accurate with a controller. So what's been kind of fun for me is I've played primarily shotgun. You're going to notice in all of these games it kind of was very fun, this challenge, because I was heavily shotgunning in almost all scenarios and figuring out how to make that work. You know, how do I avoid the lancers, how do I get into shotgun range, which is where my strength is. So I think it was fun in that aspect as well. Definitely fun in that aspect. But, you know, in this game, if you want to look at this game just in a vacuum, I hit, what, like 2 to 3 back-to-back snipes, a few sweep shots. I hit a guy sliding into cover. I think I hit 1 to 2 quads. And I'm against a 4-man. You know, they're all on high ping because that's the quality of matchmaking the game gives me. You know, I can't stop that. I can't fix that. Yes, they're bronze, but I'm bronze on this account. And also, I want people to know, like, I didn't just want to sign in and be like, oh, I'm going to smurf and destroy people. That's not why I made the account. I don't really like people that make second accounts to do that. I think it's cheap. The reason I made the second account was because I actually had no idea how good or bad I'd be with a controller. So I didn't want to go on my master's account and just get absolutely blasted and really have no fun and then just give up. Whereas playing on a bronze account, it lets me, yeah, it does let me play against some lesser players, but I also had no idea what my skill level was going to be. I might have been bronze, I might have just not been able to use the controller. So unfortunately for these other guys, or, you know, I did actually have to play the ranking system and level up. So I don't want to just be like, oh, these guys are bad and I'm crushing on them, because, you know, that's not the point. Again, for all I know, I might have made this account, absolutely sucked, and been stuck in silver and getting no kills. It turned out I was actually fairly decent with a controller still, because my fundamentals were all right. And yeah, we ranked up pretty damn well. Day sort of 1, which you saw yesterday, that was like very early days, very sluggish. Today you can definitely see that after like a day of playing, I'm definitely more fluid on the sticks, hitting a lot more shots, hitting some quads. And I'd just like to say to all the people that say that I'm absolutely dog shit and the only reason I get kills is because of a PC, well, fuck you, mate. Not that bad. I might be missing all of these shots because, again, I'm new, but the notion that the only reason I'm getting kills was because I was on a mouse and keyboard and it's overpowered and you would never be able to get kills or do any of those snipes without a mouse and keyboard, that I get thrown at me a lot. It's like, well, no, if I put enough practice in, I'm pretty sure I'll get okay at the game. You can see in chat there we were discussing about where do I think I'll end up on the ladder, because I was like, you know what, I feel like I can probably get to grips with shotgunning. I can probably improve my movement a bit, roll less, put a bit more movement in. You can see me talking about it here, and that's why I've started bouncing. But I was beginning to question, like, well, I can probably get up to gold and Onyx, and then maybe at Onyx and gold, people start to Lancer a lot more, people start to be a bit faster, and that's when I'm going to need to actually be accurate and perform well, and maybe I can't do that on a controller, because what this is right now is this is me killing people that basically don't know how the game works. I'm not sure how that killed me there, but that's no disrespect to these fellas or people that are playing. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm making up for my lack of controller movement and lack of pure skill with just knowing where people want to be and how they want to move. Like that 1v2 there, that's got nothing to do with me being good with controller, same as this. That's just me knowing that the guy's panicking. You know, you can see me, my wall bounce is very slow, and it's so slow that it's actually irrelevant, really. There's no point even doing it. So for this, you know, you can see me there trying a bit of movement and landing shots, but that's exactly, I know I got 99 in one, but that's exactly why I'm kind of quote bot walking, because my movement's very slow because I'm new and I'm still learning, guys, but I'm also misrolling, so that roll got me killed, and I didn't roll on PC because I removed the key, which is something maybe we'll address in tomorrow's episode. But for now, you know, it's been a very pleasant experience, and one thing I have really enjoyed, and I know it's because I'm playing low elo accounts, is there's been no pure Lancer stacks. Like, these guys are stacks, right, but they just seem like a group of guys that are playing the game, and not so much like a stack designed to, right, you know, play with each other and hold each other's hands and win. They're just a bunch of dudes playing together. And one thing I have noticed, and I think I would potentially enjoy, and you can tell me this at home, is Xbox, so I'm not talking about people that play the controller, I'm talking about the Xbox. If you play Xbox with crossplay off, is it still a complete Lancer fest at the higher elos, or do people play more shotgun? Because I feel like, and you can tell in this game, that I'm definitely using the shotgun more frequently, just because I'm not as strong with the Lancer. So I feel like my strength lies in, quote, like flying at somebody and shotgunning them. So naturally, when I've been on the controller, I've used a lot more shotgun than previous. So mostly what I would do is Lancer, control power weapons, because that's where the strength is, and then I would use the shotgun to be like, right, we now need to break the hill or take the hill, it's time to take out the shotgun. Whereas on Xbox controller, I've just basically been using the shotgun all the time, just to sink some hours into practicing, and it's been pretty fun. So hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see you in tomorrow's episode, and as always on Friday at 7 PM GMT, there will be a montage going out, and I hope to see you there. I'd love to see you comment on it, because that is going to be the culmination of the road to Masters. It's going to be some highlights of the journey. We'll show you what rank we achieved as well. Did we get to Masters? Did we get to Onyx? Where did we get to? So I'll be able to show you what rank I reached within, I think it was like 5 to 6 days of playing, and some highlights of the journey there. So I hope to see you there. I think we end up breaking this hill and taking a victory. But I think I ended up in this game getting about like 85 kills, which is pretty decent. But it's been a fairly long video, and I just wanted to provide some background footage. Yeah, we end up holding this hill here. But thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. As always, leave a comment and a like, because it really does help the algorithm. And I'll see you Friday and tomorrow as well.